Greetings, Midcoast Ukes. This is Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. I'd like to today talk about folk strums, and folk is a huge subject, so we're not going to really try to cover everything folk. We're going to zero in on a very specific aspect of folk, and that would be strumming. We're going to talk about the most basic of folk strums, the ones you need to play stuff by Bob Dylan, which I was just doing. That was Mr. Tambourine Man. You could play some Peter, Paul and Mary, some John Denver, Gordon Lightfoot, all that good stuff. Tom Paxton, Joan Baez, you name it. Anything that's folk. So let's get right into it. One of the most basic strums in folk music is down, 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 up, down, up. Or for those of you that are into rhythms, you would call that a quarter note, and then 4 eighth notes. So like this. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. If you start to get that going, it sounds pretty musical. Not only is it for folk, but it's for rock, because rock is oftentimes derived from blues and from folk. So stuff like, say, the Beatles and stuff like Creedence Clearwater and that sort of thing. So if you're not into folk, but you do happen to like rock, this is for you also. If you want to take that down, 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 up, and spiff it up a little bit, make it slightly more interesting, hit the strings closest to you on the first down, hit the strings furthest away from you on the next down, and then hit those further away strings on the down, up, like this. So you get a certain sound at the first beat, and you get a different sound with a higher note on the second beat. And all the subsequent beats. So there's your most basic folk strum and a slight variation of it. Now let's do a different one. If you want it to be a little busier, a little more active, add more eighth notes, add more up strums. So this one's going to be that was a down, but then it was followed by down, up, down, up, down, up. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Not too busy, but a slight bit busier than the first one. And then what we can do is we can put those eighth notes in the middle of the measure. So you have a single down strum on 1, you have a down up on 2 and 3 and then a single down strum on 4. So that puts the eighth notes in the middle like this. That's pretty close to what they do on Blowin' in the Wind when Peter, Paul and Mary perform that. One of them, I don't know if it's Peter or Paul, but they finger pick. And then the other one, I don't know if that's Peter or Paul, but Strums. And the strum that they do on Blowin' in the Wind is just like that. How many times must a man walk down that song, Blowin' in the Wind? So that is folk strum number 3. Then we get into folk strum number 4, which is exactly that. The same one we just talked about, the Peter, Paul and Mary strum, I call it. But we put a tie in the middle of the measure. We're actually going to add a little syncopation like this. That's almost getting into calypso strum territory. When you add that tie, when you skip strumming beat 3 and instead of strumming it, you wait a little bit, that gives it that syncopation. And that's exactly what the calypso strum does. So again, it's down, down, up, wait, up, down, up. Or for those of you that are impatient, you don't want to wait, you could do a faked strum, and that's what I do. I do that technique I call a faked strum like this. I bring my hand down and all kind of fake like I'm strumming the ukulele, but I don't actually hit the strings. And that puts my hand in a perfect position, because it's down here below the ukulele, to come back up. So for me, that's the easiest, but some of you might prefer waiting on beat 3, just holding steady until after beat 3. But me, I like to do the faked strum. Helps me keep track of things. It helps me really be in sync with my foot taps and where the beat is. So for me, that's the best way. But the other way is okay. If that's the way that you understand it, it's going to sound the same. There'll be no difference. All right, and finally, we have where you're strumming 2 quarter notes down, tying that 2nd quarter note into an 8th note, and then you strum it down, up, down. That might sound complicated, but I'm going to play it for you so you can hear it first. Not too hard to actually do. Just when you hear it explained, it sounds kind of like a complicated set of directions. But in essence, it's just down, down, fake, up, down, down, fake, up, down, down, fake, up, down, 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 fake, up, down. That I really like to do on Mr. Tambourine Man by Bob Dylan. That's one of the strums I use in that song, as well as the first one that I did at the top of the video. Down, 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 up, with no syncopation. So you can do with syncopation. By the way, a lot of Bob Dylan songs do that. I Want You by Bob Dylan does that, from Blonde on Blonde. Shelter from the Storm from Blood on the Tracks. A lot of Bob Dylan songs use that strum. So again, unsyncopated. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up. And then syncopated. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So there you have it. There are 5 great folk strums that you can have. I fit them all on a single page here in this handy dandy handout that I will make available to you. You'll be able to see this and learn from these. And I highly encourage you to listen to lots of folk music. Listen to what the guitar especially is doing in those songs. That's really where this comes from, is acoustic guitar playing and folk music. But this can, like I said, be applied to a lot of different things, including rock music and whatever you want. It's a very versatile technique. All right, Midcoast Ukers, hope you enjoyed that little tutorial. And I will catch you at our next jam on Saturday, the 2nd Saturday of the month. I believe that's going to be the 10th. So I'll see you there. Bye-bye.